Alright, so this is an Nerf Gjallarhorn prop. I have no idea who makes it, but I've had it for like 2 years now. And I ended up slapping the internals from the Titan from the Unity system into it. It's all empty. Oh man. But anyways, I've already completed the mod, or, whatever. And I'm just going to show you what I had done because it's super simple. And honestly, if you have one of these and you happen to have a Titan that's just sitting around and you're just like, what's cool is if I made this prop function, I would recommend doing this. So, I already unscrewed everything, so we don't need this. Actually, we might need it because there's 2 screws in this tube that clicks in. But anyways, here's the optic. The optic comes right off. It clips on and off. And the first part I am going to remove would be this one, if I can. Oh man, did I forget some screws? Oh, I forgot some screws. Just take care of that right there. Honestly, I think I started up here and then I just ended up skipping over everything. And just do a quick go over on this. Alright. This should just slide right off, other than this part over here, which you only have to unscrew like these 2 screws right here on this top part. The rest of it, it just doesn't butterfly open because this wolf head is it's actually screwed in. It's one solid piece, but it screws in from the front. My hands aren't big enough to get in there and get it out, or small enough. Either way, so I just got to open that up a little bit. Open that up a little bit, and here, let me put this over here. And if you can, you basically see this is the trigger system that I made for it. It goes all the way down. But if I'm going to show you the tank and the plunger tube bit, I need to actually take off the rest of this. Now, the plastic that I used to make this trigger is kind of flimsy in its current state, even doubled up and like nothing. It's basically composite super glue plastic. So I'm going to try to not... Oh, crud. I'm going to try to not break this because I tried recording this before and I broke it and I just got mad. I didn't really get mad, it just went, oh crap. Honestly, this might help if I put something under it. Because the big problem is this part is connected here through a little tab. So this part likes to just fling open. But before you start opening everything, you've got to pretty much take off this handle, which I'm going to get this flathead because for some odd reason it's really tight. But I think it's because some of the plastic, like, it can fold into this little part over here. So I think the plastic just kind of like gets pushed in there, which, makes it difficult. Alright, so I gotta hold this, whoa, hold your horses. Gotta hold this part up so it's level, like that. Then we'll go over to this part. Oh, come on, you. Oh, nope. Oh man, I forgot another screw. Oh well, it's probably not going to be the last one because honestly, the only 2 screws I was expecting to unscrew is these 2, because obviously I couldn't get to them. Oh man. Come on. Just dropping the ball. Huzzah. I'll just put this. I don't have a lot of room to put things. Yeah, I'll just put it right there, and if it falls, oh well. And I got plenty of other screws, I suppose. So boom, right there, there's the whole... Stop. There's the whole trigger thing, trigger mechanism. Oh, please stay on, thank you. And so with that done, I don't have any fear of this snapping in half. I'm going to hopefully tease this part open. Just make sure all the screws are good. It should be. Now this part can be a little finicky, especially for how I did it. I mean, there's, you know, a ton more people than just me out there, so it can be done just about any endless way. So there's that part of the tube, which I will, you know, try to find a home for. You can sit perfectly right on that, and boom, there we go. There's the tube to the Titan. Whew. Just had a miniature heart attack right there. Just go in there. Yes, that's what I wanted. Anyway, so that's pretty much, I mean, this is the bulk of it. It's just this plastic piece that holds on to this little rod right here and pushes it back, and it goes back. But the tank itself, I've got a whole bunch of friction tape. I took a piece of PVC and I stuck it in there, and then I used the friction tape to basically, it makes a seal. It's pretty good. I've got this bit of barrel from a Strife that goes on the outside of it because it could shoot regular darts, and it then obviously could shoot the demolisher rockets. One of the things I would like to do is I'd like to get a coupler that could fit over the orange part, and then I'd be able to make other things like, say, a coupler that holds like 5 darts to mock the cluster bomb functionality of the Gjallarhorn. So I could put that back there. And it's really nice because it just friction fits in. Boom, right there, and it's all centered and such. Really nice thing about this product is it actually came with an orange tip, because I would assume most props do that happen to be weapons. So this part was actually held in by this little bit right here. Held by this, that would screw in to this part. And this part was attached to this until I sawed it off. But it would just attach right in there. I was lucky though, because my wife has small enough hands, was able to get in there. However, she wasn't able to get into the wolf head, which is fine because I'll get into this top part in a moment. Well, once I get done with everything else. So I'll put that over there. I'll throw that right back over there. You can go right there. So that's basically most of the takedown. Now, what I ended up having to do is, obviously, to get the trigger to slide, I had to make some cuts up here, and then it mirrors on the other side, and then right here I had to dig in. Now I've got a cut over here and 2 drill holes over here. I originally tried making the trigger system with just a wire, but it just wasn't working. But that's okay. I mean, you know, that's how we get to this point. So, yeah, so just honestly, if you're going for it and you can make your trigger, you could probably make your trigger out of better material than what I had. I just used what I have. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's easy. Also, I've got this cut back here. I don't know why I have that cut back there. I think honestly what happened is I thought it was like this and I made a mistake. Either way. So let's get to the back of this blaster. So I'm actually just going to remove this from here carefully so I don't break it again. Oh. So anyways, also another thing I should point out, there is this decorative, I don't know, branding, whatever, that goes around the front of the blaster. And this stuff is like a rubber plastic. It's you can bend it. It's glued in there, however, it has these tabs, and if you take the time to just, you know, really just push it back in there, you don't have to glue them back in, just in case if you're like me and you have to open it 50 times because you don't know how to make a video. But anyways, it just goes right back in, and it friction fits. It's really good. These two parts obviously come apart. What's really nice is everything just comes apart. Ground. Also, I should probably note one thing. These are two separate pieces. They separate right here. I super glued them together because it made it just easier to work with having the trigger being so brittle where it was. So, I mean, it doesn't affect anything. So, I figure I'd point that out just in case if you happen to have yourself an Iron Gjallarhorn, take it apart and go, well, this looked like it was one part to that guy. But either way, put that over there, and we can get to these back tubing parts after I unscrew a part. Probably have to unscrew more than just one part, but hey, we got time. So, what's really nice about this tube that you may or may not have to watch out for is, once I get this undid, is this doesn't specifically, like, you can put it in this way or you can put it in like the opposite way. Like if I roll this all the way around to the other side, it gives the same connections. However, I did cut out a part down here for how my trigger is, and plus also to, you know, just figure out what is down, what I would want to use as down every time, so it doesn't mess up the tubing. And the tubing that I did use for it is, it's just this 1/4 inch stuff. My job involves me going around counting stores, and I happen to come upon this for a total of $3. So I bought this whole entire thing for $3. Probably wouldn't have been able to actually do this if it wasn't for that. Oh, I mean, I guess I could have just thought about going to my local hardware store. I have like 3 of them around me. But anyways, so this part, if I can figure out a good way to do this without breaking everything, and there we go, is super easy. You take this part off, and that's 1/2, and then you rip off this other part, which is kind of a little bit more difficult just because this is where the foam is. And let me see if I can scoot this over here. That's just not going to happen, I guess. No. Oh, good. No, hey. Alright, good. We're good. Maybe if I don't know how to do, I have a microphone scissor thing that I attached my phone to, so you're gonna have to forgive me if I don't have wicked awesome camera skills. Excuse me. Not used to talking this much, to, I don't know. Either way, so, second part comes off like that, and boom, here we go. This is the tube that you use to pump. Here's the little plunger tube, or plunger rod. I added a piece of PVC to this, and then a T thing so I can take it out and it'd be easier to pump. PVC tube goes down through here. I put a screw through it so that there's some a little bit more solid in case if the grip is lost, so then it'll just catch on that. And then, you know, it'll let me know because obviously there'll be some give and take. But yeah, it's just foam tubing. I want to say foam tubing. foam tubing. Either way, it's that, some more friction tape, and it's in there. It's good. Now for the, this part goes to the rest of the Unity system for the Hornet. I believe it was the little 6-shot Hornet. I actually have that, but yeah, obviously it's not going to go in here. And for that, all I did was I took a little bit of the tubing and then I started on fire. Be careful with fire, or I lit it on fire. Here, let me just, where's the last part? I know you're around here. I'll show you real quick what I did. Oh, I'm just covering it up. What are you attached to? So anyways, all I did was I just started this. Once again, be safe with lighters, fire, all that. And while that's hot, you can take your little pliers and you can crimp it. Oh geez, totally not on there. But either way, you'll get what I'm saying. And boom, that's a seal right there. Excuse me again. And so one thing with this, because you only have so much room, is you'll have to cut down this part, but you got to be careful not to cut down too much, or else you'll get yourself a hole and the air is just going to go right through it. But if I'm going to be completely honest, I am not an expert on the whole entire how these things work, so this may have been completely redundant and I may have not even had to do it. So I just did it just to do it. On the head, or on the tank part, I did the same exact thing. Of course I got more room where that was, but I know that went to the gauge, this little gauge right here, and I'll let you know when your pressure is high or whatever. I did crimp that one and capped it off on that one, but again, not sure if I even have to do that. So all I need to do is get this put back together, and I'm excited that I was able to do that without completely destroying it. Well, the trigger, that is. There's not too much else to say about it. I will probably just swing on over to the firing demo. Alright. Alright, well, I guess we can actually do the firing demo now that the ground isn't covered in snow and everything isn't so loud. I do apologize if there's any loud noises. I do live right next to a shipping receiving area, so lots of trucks come by. Anyways, let's see if we can do a demonstration on this quick. Alright. So basically, you stick your rockets in, you can put darts in. Like I said, it has that functionality. It shoots basically just as well as a regular Titan shoots. And you can easily, what's really nice is, because of how big it is, you can just set it on the ground and then just pump away. That happens far too often for me, but then you just, you pick it up and you shoot it. Let this truck go by. And yeah, like I said, it shoots just about as well as a regular Titan does. These are old demo rockets, so I'm not sure if, you know, wear and tear affects them. I know that the wings on them are kind of janky, but just go at it again. It's kind of hard for me to pull my trigger because I still have to add another layer, so it's just as thick as the old trigger was. But other than that, it works. Oh, there was a screw that I didn't put in. Boom. Of course, I do not have the best downrange to do this because trees, but I'm going to pick up the screw, I'm going to pick up that rocket, and I'm going to go back down to the basement. So, as I said earlier, I was going to talk about this top part. Now, much like the rest of this prop, it's all hollow, but it's a good size. I mean, other than the screw posts that would go back and forth, so the screws can obviously go through. There's just room. So one thing, if anybody has the ability to, and one of these, you could very easily probably put a like a pump, an air pump. You could easily put it in there, and then you'd have the rest of the blast, you know, the rest of the prop to put in your power source or whatever else you would like to put into it, which is really, really nice. Overall, this was a really fun build to try to put together. Definitely took me at least 3 days, and a lot of it was just mulling over what the, oh no, it's all coming apart, mulling over whatever the trigger was going to be, because again, like I said, my first attempt was going to be wire going all the way through and just pulling that, but again, that just didn't work, which is okay, because, you know, worked on the first try, then I may be made out of magic and should probably play the lottery more often. But overall, just using this thing is extremely fun. I suppose one other thing I probably had left out, this prop out of the box, you put in 3 AAAs into this box right here, and you'll have some sound functionality that mimics the tracking when you aim down sight in game, and then it'll you pull the trigger halfway for that, then you pull the old trigger all the way, and it'll make the sound of it firing, exploding, and then all the cluster bombs exploding after that. It also had a rumble motor for, you know, like feedback on the, you know, like boom, blah, 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 all that stuff. It's all right here. Well, I shouldn't say all of it. I mean, these two parts connect to the battery tray. This was a two-stage switch. So that was the one where you pull back halfway and then all the way, and it did 2 things. And then these would go to the motor. Honestly, I was going to use the motor because I was getting really frustrated because I had no idea what I was going to do for the trigger, and I thought, hey, why don't I just, you know, motorize it, make it electrical, do all that. But again, I mean, I'm very happy with my end product. I could probably put this on. Break the illusion, I haven't done the firing test yet, but what a twist. This thing's difficult to put on just because you gotta use your eyes to see. Should go right in there. There we go. Boom. Goes right in there, rips off just as easy. Other than that, I love this thing. I can hang it back on my wall where it goes, and if I want to, I can terrorize somebody with this. Well, not like actually terrorize someone with it, but you know, if my brother comes over or something like that, I'd be like, hey, you want to see something cool? And then I'll just rip this thing off the wall and, you know, I'll get them. So, let me know what you think of this thing. It was a labor of love. Is that how the phrase goes? Either way, I love this thing. Yeah, let me know what you think, and yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day, night, wherever you are. Just have a good one.